Hey, Courtney, are you looking forward to the eclipse today?
I'm looking forward to the sex portal part.
I don't remember that part in the book.
Oh, I thought you meant like the actual solar eclipse that was happening today.
Well, I did, but now I want to hear more about the sex portal. Welcome to MILF.
I'm Courtney.
And I'm Jennifer.
And we are two moms into literary freedom. Okay, so about this sex portal. Actually, it's not called the sex portal. It's like a sex magic ritual. And
okay,
it's just one of those things that's just caught a lot of popularity on social media, along with like the earth is flat.
I know, there's like a million different things. The rapture's coming.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was Marjorie Taylor Greene, right?
She tweeted about it.
Uh-huh.
Apparently, because she said something along. Hold on, I have it right here.
It was something like, God is telling America to.
Yeah, God is sending America strong signs to tell us to repent. Earthquakes and eclipses and many more things to come.
Wait, so hold on. First of all, there was an earthquake in Taiwan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, which, I mean, that's just a terrible thing in itself. But for like a political figure to be like, oh, all of these people are suffering in Taiwan, and I don't know how many. Thankfully, there weren't too many death reports. But of course, the death toll always rises in natural disasters like that, which is just terrible. But for a political figure to be like, no, our hearts go out to Taiwan. No, because all of these people are dying in Taiwan, God is telling America, not Taiwan or the world, but America, that we need to do better.
When did she put this tweet out? Because I assumed she was talking about New York. Because I don't even think she would care what happens in Taiwan.
There was an earthquake in New York?
Yes. It happened like a day or two after the Taiwan one.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow. Did anyone die in that one?
I don't think so.
I didn't know that you could have earthquakes in New York. That's
well, I don't think it's very common.
Okay, so that makes sense. That's probably what she was talking about. Okay, because I just assumed she was talking about it. But whatever.
Oh, I don't know when she put it out, so who knows, right? But, she could be talking about both.
I bet you're right. But yeah, so she's talking about that, and obviously the eclipse that's happening today in New York is actually right in the path, right?
I think so.
It makes like an X or something. What was the X about?
Well, no, the X is the previous...
the previous eclipse.
Yes.
And then this one, the path is like...
they intersect at a certain point.
Perpendicular.
Because it's a globe and it's round, not flat.
That reminds me, wasn't there someone else that was like... You have a video of it on your phone, don't you? And she was like talking about...
Oh, yeah.
She was spitting out all of these facts, like... Earth, sun is like 400 times bigger than the moon, and like, this many miles wide, and blah, 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 which I didn't fact check her on that, but like, assuming that she's right about the size of things, which is not hard to Google, she's using that as like strength for her argument that because it's so big, like, how can something so small eclipse something that's so big?
Right. Like she's never held her thumb up to the sun before. Yeah. Kids do that.
Or like, those funny pictures where it's like, there's like this like big fountain or waterfall, and if like you're standing in front of it just at the right angle and you like open your mouth.
Yes.
And like the waterfall is like going into your mouth.
Yeah. Or like people holding up the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, exactly.
Things
That's
like
a way better example.
How does that happen? Because the Eiffel Tower is huge, and we are not.
Exactly. We did a really cool photo shoot on the beach last summer because my in-laws live in Michigan, so we were on Lake Michigan, and the sun was setting, and it was beautiful.
Yeah.
And we did the thing where like you hold up your hands and like you're holding the sun.
Yes. Like, exactly.
Like, that shit's all over social media.
How'd you do that? That's some devil worshiping shit right there.
You know what? I do participate regularly in sex rituals. So I must be right.
So today's just like another day in your book.
Exactly. Nothing too fancy. But so the reason this other lady who I went to go look for her video on Instagram, and Instagram had like tagged it as misinformation, which that's a feature I do appreciate. So they're like, are you sure you want to read this post? I'm like, yes, I'm sure. And so I listened to her, and she's just like, I did not know what she was talking about, but it was something about like NASA, and they have this name of their mission, and they're sending like rockets out, I guess. And she was like equating the name of the mission with like schizophrenia and like other things, and none of it. And she just kept saying, these are all coincidences.
Right.
None of it made any sense.
None of it.
And if you look at the comments, they're like, not to be mean, but like maybe you're in the early stages of schizophrenia.
Right.
And I love that comment because they're like, I really am not trying to be mean. But like,
you need help.
Which is just so funny. But not funny if she really does have schizophrenia. But, you know, sometimes I just go to social media for the comments.
Oh, I know. They're hilarious. But people come up with some crazy stuff. Yeah. I just saw another video, and it was a pastor, right, being like interviewed, and he was like, they were asking him like, oh, what do you think about the eclipse? You know, is it like the rapture? And he started like spitting like Bible verses and saying, based on this, it is the rapture, and like these are the signs.
So many different raptures. I'm waiting.
Let me tell you.
I'm ready.
Every freaking year there's like a rapture coming. And every year I'm disappointed to see all these people still here.
Exactly.
Like, you said you were going.
Beam them up.
You need to go.
But no, so back to the sex part. This woman, and I wonder if she's the one that just like came up with this herself.
Right.
And which is really something interesting about the internet. Like you can come up with a crazy ass idea, and depending on like the mood of the people watching and the algorithms, right? It can really blow up. And that's the definition of going viral.
Yeah.
In case you were wondering. But she said that because NASA is sending a rocket, which is very phallic shaped. I think the word she used was obelisk or obelisk, which is just a penis-shaped statue. Okay. I mean, it's a cylinder, I guess, but it looks like a penis. I guess it's not a cylinder, it's kind of pointy. But anyway, so the pointy cylinder, i.e. the rocket, is going to the moon. And apparently the moon is a feminine symbol in like astrology.
Okay.
And so this rocket is a male penis symbol, and it's going into the female symbol.
Okay, so that's where the sex comes from.
Yeah, so because of all of this, like she and many others on the wonderful World Wide Web have come to the conclusion that NASA is participating in a sex ritual.
Oh my God. I bet you she's against books that have any type of quote unquote pornography.
I wonder.
Because they see sex in everything.
Well, her like video really could be turned into like a best-selling science fiction novel. Like someone should take that idea, tweak it a little bit so it's not plagiarism, so you don't get like sued down the road. But like someone turn that into a book.
You know, there's a book out there about a woman who has a sexual relationship with her door.
A door. Okay.
I think that's the name of the book, The Door, or something like that.
Okay.
And
the door is just really strong and solid. Is there when she needs it?
It's got very strong wood.
Okay. You know? Oh, I missed that one. I bet it isn't made of dark mahogany.
Apparently it is made.
Maybe it smells like mahogany. You know, like the man scent is mahogany. Like if you were to get like a man candle, it's like,
or cedar, right? That's another one.
Yeah, I've only seen mahogany, manly mahogany.
Yeah, I do like the way that smells.
Have you read this book?
No, I haven't. I haven't, but curiosity has me going like, what is this about?
Well, maybe we should cover it.
But I have seen like a lot of videos about it. Mm-hmm. And so obviously a lot of people think it's funny. I've seen some people say it was actually kind of good.
Yeah, I'm into it. I'm ready.
Because the door somehow speaks to her.
What's it called?
That part, I think it's called The Door.
Okay.
Or Door, something like that. I don't know.
We'll put it in our show notes.
But yeah, so, you know, people will find a way to have sex with anything, I guess.
I mean, I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing that's been consistent throughout all of human nature is sex. And, I mean, it's, you know, everyone likes to act like each generation is like lewd and lascivious, but really, like, we're all just a bunch of lewd, lascivious people.
Yeah.
Been around, you know, since the caveman times.
Yeah, exactly.
Since before the caveman times.
That's why it's saying, you know, like gays didn't exist back then. Yes, they did. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, yes, they have always existed. They're in your Bible, supposedly, right? Mm-hmm. So they existed.
Not the lesbians. They aren't allowed.
No. Well, you know, women.
That part got cut out.
Women don't make history very often.
Yeah.
So.
But so, yeah, we decided we're going to do a completely different book, but we thought because there's an eclipse, we're going to cover the Twilight Saga, including the book Eclipse, which is like the third one, right?
Third, I think.
Okay. By Stephanie Meyer, who is Mormon and, you know, didn't you say like she quoted something like, I don't think that, or my books don't have like gratuitous sex and violence because I don't think teenagers should read gratuitous sex and violence. Right. Because she's Mormon and, you know, whatever. But here, her book, or her saga, the whole saga, which, you know, end to end is like what, 2,000 pages or something?
Maybe more.
I don't know. But either way, it was like it was like in the top 5 most banned books for 2009.
Yeah. Well, 2009, I think, is when Twilight came out.
Okay, so Twilight was the top 5 most banned book in 2009. Maybe. Yeah, and I remember that because I graduated college. When did I graduate college?
That sounds about right. Sure, 2009.
and that was when I read that book because it was like, you know, it was on the talk, right?
Yeah.
When did you read it?
Oh, God, I don't remember. I don't remember if I read it when the movie came out and I wanted to read the books first, or if I saw Twilight and then got obsessed and read the books. It's a long time ago.
I read the book before the movie was a thing, but the movie came out really quickly.
Yeah.
It was like I don't know who Stephanie Meyer's publisher is, but like, talk about instant fame.
Right.
And instant money. Like, geez, that's freaking awesome. Regardless of how cheesy and terribly written you think the books are, she's a fucking millionaire.
Right. I feel like sometimes people are a little snobbish and they're like, oh, the book wasn't well written. Yeah, but everybody likes it, you know? Like, so who cares?
I mean, I would call it a beach read.
Yeah.
You know, beach reads are just as easy to read. Yeah, it's fucking fun. And it's so much better than just like sitting on the couch and like watching something. Like, you're actually like using your brain. Yes, it was not great. You know, it wasn't great writing, but I was an 18-year-old, you know, who loved it. Like, it was perfect for that time of my life. And even now I would read it just to escape the hellscape that we're living.
How into Twilight were you?
I named my fucking dog Bella. Seriously, I adopted this dog from like a rescue while I was on a field trip in college. Like, apparently you could still take field trips in college. I took a field trip and I actually had to help drive the bus. Since we all had our licenses. So they like made us take turns driving the bus, and it was like some marine science field trip. It was really cool, but it was like there was this festival going on, and you know how Humane Society set up at festivals? Yeah. She was there, and my teacher was so mad at me that I took a dog home on a bus. And in hindsight, I'm like, I'm such an idiot. Like, I'm the idiot that took a dog home on a school bus. Hey. I named her Bella.
Aww. Yeah. See, I was very hardcore into it. I remember I had my kids by then, right? When did I have my kids?
2009.
Oh, yeah. So my 2 kids were like, what, like 5? Okay. And
so you're like really needing some escape from motherhood. Like, reading, really into this book.
And so I would go to like opening nights for like the movie.
Oh, I did that for Harry Potter too.
Yeah. I remember going to Walmart when like the DVD was going to be released or something.
God, that's so fun.
And so I won like a water bottle and an umbrella.
Oh, I love it.
And I should still have it somewhere in my house. The umbrella's still there because I still see her every once in a while.
Because it rains all the time in Forks, Washington.
But I think it's starting to break. But even though I don't use it, but it's just been like moved around. Cool. And then the water bottle, I haven't seen the water bottle in a while. I used to have it on a shelf.
You could sell it on eBay. Probably.
No, I can never get rid of it. No.
That's funny. Is it just like is it signed by Stephanie Meyer?
No, nothing like that. It's got Edward on it. Okay. Were you Team Jacob or Edward?
Okay, that's a really good question. So to answer this question, we have to go back to Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Okay. And you have to ask the question, are you Team Angel or are you Team Spike? Okay. Because I feel like if you're Team Angel, then you're definitely Team Edward. And if you're Team Spike, then you're definitely Team Jacob. And so in my younger years, I was 100% Team Angel, Team Edward, right? But as I have matured and looking back on both of these stories, which are great vampire stories. Right. Okay, I don't care who you are. I don't care how snobby you are. Vampire stories are the best. And I would say that as I've become an older woman, I'm now Team Spike and Team Jacob.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't really explain it, but I mean, that's what we're going to do. We're going to get into the book.
Yeah.
I think we should talk a lot about the characters and all that, but
and I think most people...
What are you?
Always Team Edward.
Team Edward. Okay,
yeah.
So I was hardcore Team Edward, Team Angel, but then, I'm like really thinking about it. I'm like, I don't know. But,
no. I have a thing for I love paranormal, like vampire and werewolves are my jam in books and in stories. But so did you watch which one is this one?
One of the movies?
It's the HBO show with Sookie.
Oh, yeah.
I can't think of the name right now. True Blood.
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah.
So obviously that was like even better because it was obviously a little more adult.
What's really funny is, so Blake, my husband, is just the biggest book snob, music snob. He's just the biggest snob all around, right? But he loves True Blood.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, how are you? Oh, but you know what? He was a great sport and he watched all of Buffy.
Okay.
He refused to watch Angel. I'm like, listen, we got to watch the spinoff series. He'll do it eventually. But he watched all of Buffy with me and he was a great sport. He said it was a good show.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, you know what? I judged it, but then after I watched it, I realized and Buffy is like one of the top 100 TV shows of all time.
Okay.
It really is good.
Yeah, it's good.
But he loved True Blood a lot more than I did. I just couldn't get into it. I thought it was the acting was terrible. The writing wasn't bad. I didn't mind the story. I love vampire stories, but the acting was terrible.
Oh, I loved it.
You know what? I should give it another try.
I loved it, but obviously it was like that one has a lot more sex. Mm-hmm. A lot
Maybe that's why
older looking vampires and werewolves.
Yeah.
So yeah.
How about what's another one I was just gonna say? You haven't seen this, I'm sure, but it's a satire. Oh, it's called Preacher. And it is very adult. It's very satirical. It's very sarcastic. And, it's got a vampire. It's got all kinds of creatures and the devil, Satan himself. It's got Jesus in it. Okay.
Oh, okay.
It's so it's it used to be, or it was, a comic book and it was adapted into a series. And I'm not explaining it really well, but it is the supernatural kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of real life elements and themes and all that stuff in it, but it's really good. So if you liked True Blood, you would like Preacher.
I'll have to look into it.
Mm-hmm. That's really
that sounds like a good one.
It's funny too. It they have not Jesus, but the direct bloodline of Jesus.
Okay.
And his name is Humperdoo.
Humperdoo.
Because the idea there is that there are that there is a direct descendant of Jesus Christ, but in order to keep the bloodline true, there's a lot of inbreeding. And so you have fast forward to 2020, you have the direct line of Jesus Christ, but his name is Humperdoo and he's just
a little
not all there.
Right.
So it can be a little
inbreeding.
If you're pretty Christian and you
might get offended.
It's definitely an offensive TV show, but I think that's what makes it good.
But I mean, they were offended by Twilight.
Yeah.
Because, they consider it the occult and...
Written by a Mormon.
Right. So...
Too funny. Yeah.
Why else did they ban Twilight?
I think probably because, the same reasons that Harry Potter was banned.
Yeah.
Just anti-Christian, talking about the vampires are demons and demons are supposed to live in hell and how can demons walk the earth kind of thing. So it's they don't want their kids learning about vampires, which aren't real.
Right.
Following that logic, you need to ban every book about a unicorn.
Right. I think they probably have tried.
There are some people out there that burn Disney DVDs, because they think it's false idol, you're worshiping false idols.
Yeah.
For little girls, they're I want to be Moana. You shouldn't want to be anything but Jesus Christ. I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. Wouldn't that be cross-dressing?
Yeah.
Isn't that a problem too?
Yes. There's so many problems, but I don't know. I was going to say something else, but I forgot. Huh.
Well, they also banned it for sex, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, okay. But that wasn't until Breaking Dawn, which was the fourth one. So let's name all the books. We've got Twilight,
New Moon,
Eclipse, Breaking Dawn.
Yes.
That's the original 4. Then there's all kinds of things that came after that. I had already been okay, I'm done. I'm not, I've moved on from this. But now I might go back and finish, because I didn't know. But like, there's one that was written. What's that one called? From
Midnight
Edwards?
Sun is from Edwards' point of view. That's what I think. I own it, but I don't think I actually ever read it.
Okay, but
I did.
But those are the original 4, and the sex doesn't really get prevalent until book 4. But that's after they got married.
Yeah, and even still, it's like what, just maybe a chapter.
So here's what.
It's been a while. I mean, it's been years since I've read it.
Yeah, and it's like seared into my memory. Yeah. Because like that's like the most, it was like the first, I guess if you could call it smut. It was the first smut that I read, right? Then I found better smut that was like actually, real smut, not Mormon. Right. This is Mormon smut, okay?
So 2009, you would have been like, this is too sexual, we have to ban it?
No. I was just like, I've never read anything like this before. Okay. Yeah, I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, this is great. No, I loved it. But I guess, when I was 18, reading it, I wasn't like, oh, Edward is abusing her because she's covered in bruises. Like, that's not what I thought.
Right.
I thought, being the stupid 18-year-old that I was, I thought it was, like, sexy that he was so strong.
They called it, like, domestic violence?
Yes. And so some of the people are like, oh, she's covered in bruises after he has sex with her. This is anti-feminism, which I'm like, it was all consensual. Yeah. And also it's vampires. And, like, that's the idea is, like, he's got this supernatural strength. And I remember there's one scene where they were, like, dry humping, I guess.
That was, I think, in the first book, right?
Oh, yeah. This was in one of the earlier books before they got married. Yeah. The point of that is because he refused to do anything until they got married because the author is a Mormon. Right. And apparently so is Edward. But they were like, getting close to something. And
soaking, maybe? Have you heard of soaking?
Of soaking? Yes. I mean, I can use context clues to figure out what soaking is.
This is like how
the Mormon dry humping is no longer dry.
The Mormon, what do you call it? Not roundabout, but like the
I see
the way around the no sex clause or rules. Right. Yeah. So apparently this happens in college a lot in Utah. Okay. And I guess it involves bunk beds. Oh. So.
Go on.
You soak, right, inside of your girlfriend. Oh. You don't move, right? Because movement is what they consider the sexual part. Okay. And then you have a buddy on the bottom bunk who, like, pushes the bed for you. Causing movement, but it's not movement you're causing.
My God. Wait, is there actual physical contact?
Yes, there's insertion, right? Penetration. Like penetration, thank you, that's a better word.
It works, both of them work.
But there's no movement, which...
So they're saying... Hold on. So this is like when you're Catholic and you have to give up meat for Lent, right? Instead of eating meat, you eat fish. It's the same thing.
Kind of like that.
Which I have a story, and I know we're going all over the place here, but I have a friend who's Catholic, and she gave up meat for Lent. And her husband, he's a real rascal, okay? So he's like, yeah, she's not eating meat for Lent, so I got some fish, right? So we're like, oh, cool, whatever, we're eating fish. And so we've been eating this fish, and he's like, that's not fish. And we're like, what? He does this shit all the time, I swear. You can't trust the thing he says.
Oh my God.
But he's super fun.
You know.
Yeah, you never know where you're going to get. And so we're like, and she's like, she just starts laughing. She's like, how I knew you were going to do this, And so we spent 45 minutes trying to guess the mystery meat.
Is this the boa?
Yes, it was.
I remember you talking about that.
Python.
Oh, python.
Yeah. So he wouldn't tell us, and we had already been eating it at this point. My husband, I think, refused. He was like, I'm not going to eat it, because he knows.
He knows, yeah. Like, I would never eat at his house, ever.
He brought it to our house.
Oh, no, I would not accept anything from this man.
It looked just like fish. It had the texture of fish. It was a huge hunk of fish. I was like, damn, that's a big fish. It was like, because they're huge. And so it tasted like mildewy fish. Ew. It was like, you know what I mean by mildewy, like earthy. Yeah. Like patchouli, which I fucking hate patchouli.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just like got that earthy scent to it. So it was like
I'm getting grossed out as you're describing this. I'm like, ugh.
But it was an earthy fish. It was disgusting. I mean, I ate it, like, the first bite, you're like, oh, yeah, it's like fish. And then the second bite, you're like, what did I just put in my mouth? But anyway, so back to the roundabout with the Mormons, So that's their fish. That's their Burmese python.
Yes, that's how they get around that.
You know what? We can talk for a long time about how not wrong, but stupid that is.
Right.
Because like because you said soaking, so I thought maybe there was a sheet involved that was in between them.
Oh, right.
Which
no,
some Mormons do, like they do it through a sheet to like. That's a whole nother thing. And whatever, to each his own.
Also,
do it.
Catholics used to use the back door.
Oh, not the door, not the mahogany door. The proverbial back door.
Yes.
Got it. See, I mean, since the dawn of time, humans have been finding ways to have sex.
Right.
Yeah. And, it's no different for vampires. But with Edward, he's so strong that he grabs the bedpost.
He breaks the bed, right?
He not only breaks it, it disintegrates into dust.
Yeah.
That's like the literary device that Stephanie Meyer uses to like show the reader how strong he is. And so as this dumb 18-year-old, I'm like, oh, he's so strong. I love,
So hot.
Yeah. So that's what got me on Team Edward initially.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, I was really digging Team Jacob because he could keep her warm.
Right.
Which I'm cold all the time. Can you imagine? I would love having just a warm blanket.
No, I don't like body heat like that.
Okay.
My husband runs hot.
Oh, okay.
And I literally make a fort of pillows between us.
Because it's too hot.
Because, yeah.
I'm always cold. Like right now, my fingers and toes are like ice right now. So maybe that's why I just wanted Jacob. But I did want an Edward before. I mean, they're both hot.
So, yeah, Edward sounds nice. Cold, Like my own little personal AC.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, and he's like the dark and brooding, like kind of silent type. Yeah. And that's like, I can see that's like what you're more into. But Jacob is like the happy
golden
guy.
Retriever guy.
Yeah.
Or werewolf.
And they make fun of him. There's a parody movie. Have you seen the parody movie?
I have.
It
was a while ago, but
funny.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's so funny. I mean, I wonder how Stephanie Meyer feels about it. Because she does, a lot of people make fun of her books. They make fun of her writing. It's really easy.
She's laughing all the way to the bank.
I mean, yes, exactly. But yeah, I mean, what else do you want? They got married before they had sex.
Right. Yeah, promoted marriage.
Mm-hmm. But you know what is also weird about the book? I'm never going to be a proponent of banning any book. But like, it was funny, the scenes where Edward would like talk about how much he wanted to eat Bella.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it was, and like Stephanie Meyer made it seem like he was like so strong for resisting his urge to just suck her blood right then and there.
Which might have been like metaphorical, right?
Yeah.
How men in their religion resisted women?
Yeah, no.
Like,
and so if we
or
go
sex?
back to, and I don't want to like say something, like put words in Stephanie Meyer's mouth, but she's like, she says she's a Mormon. And Mormonism is very patriarchal. Is that the word? Patriarchal?
It is to me.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying. And, in all Christian religions, I mean, tell me one. I may have missed this. But in all Christian religions, the man is the patriarch of the family and has the power, right? Mm-hmm. And in this book, we see Edward and Jacob. They both have power. And Bella's like this meek little mouse that like is trying to decide like which man is going to be in charge of her for the rest of her life. And Jacob is like trying to tell her not to choose Edward, and Edward's like trying to say like, oh, it's my job to protect you, and so I could, from a feminist standpoint, I could be like, yeah, don't read that because I want you to be a strong, independent woman.
Yeah,
but reading a book isn't going to turn you into a meek, shy, not your dependent woman, right?
No. And I mean, a lot of people have criticized the book too, just over like stuff like it's weird that he's like a 200-year-old vampire. That's what vampires and she's 17,
Buffy
and the age
16.
difference is weird. But I'm like, that's normal in vampire relationships.
Yes,
that's just how it works.
You just got to read up on vampires.
You just have to forget that he's 200 and imagine him as what he looks like.
When he died, he was like 18.
But if you think about it too much, it is weird. Like, okay, yeah, he's 200.
No,
what does he have in common?
I can think about it for hours, and I don't think that's weird. It's a vampire.
And then a lot of people also criticized, and again, I'm assuming a lot of people have already either watched the movie or read the books, when Jacob imprinted on
Renesmee.
On Renesmee,
Which, first of all, what a dumb name. I'm sorry. You're going to combine your two moms' names together.
I know, they couldn't find better names.
That was dumb. Yeah.
But yeah, Renesmee.
Sorry, Stephanie. I love your books, but...
And there's kids out there now named Renesmee.
Oh, I love
because
it. That's so funny. Well, I named my dog Bella, so I can't say anything. But yeah, I mean, that's like saying, like, if you read And Tango Makes Three, you're going to turn gay.
Right.
Like, if you read even 50 Shades of Grey, which is the fan fiction spinoff version of this, like a fan wrote 50, which she's
from Twilight.
Yeah, she's got to be really rich, too, which is awesome.
Right, because that was turned into a movie too.
Yes. I mean, I never watched the movie. I never read the book. I want to watch the movie, but Blake won't watch it with me. So.
Yeah.
But anyway, what I was saying is, like, even if you read 50 Shades of Grey, it's not going to make you go out and find a BDSM relationship. No. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you have a safe word. I've
read them. Yeah. It didn't make me... Like, I don't like the idea of being controlled, right? That's just... nature.
And reading a book isn't going to change that.
No. Did I think it was like fun to read? Absolutely.
Yes.
Did it make me maybe want to go out and get spanked? Maybe.
You know what it did for me? It made me not judge the people that want to go out and get spanked. Because to each his own. Right. Man, especially if you have a safe word. If you don't have a safe word, then I think there's a problem.
That's a problem. Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, people like to be sometimes... I've heard from friends that are into BDSM that it's like...
A thrill
and like a trust thing that it's like a connection that you have with this person to give up your power. Absolutely. And I'm just weird like that. Like I don't care how long I've known my husband. Yeah. I still do not trust you with my life like that.
You know what? That is a really good point. And I don't have that relationship.
So it might be I have trust issues, you know?
Yeah, you know what? I think that's a really good argument for people who are in BDSM relationships probably have like more open and trusting relationships than people who are not. Like,
right.
Not saying that that's the case for every situation.
Yeah.
But like that, books like this, the point is widen our perspectives.
Right.
They don't indoctrinate you.
No.
Unless you like, I don't know, are the weakest person on earth.
I will say Twilight did make me want to date a vampire.
Well, of course.
You know, so it did influence me that way.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
So did Buffy, yes.
Like that. So you're talking, I'm like 12 years old watching Buffy. That show indoctrinated me more than a book would indoctrinate me.
But unfortunately, here I am, 10, 15 years later, no freaking vampire in sight.
You gotta watch Preacher because the vampire in that, he's British. So he kind of reminds me of Spike, which... I think British vampires are pretty cool. Angel is an Irish vampire, so they will always be my number one. What about Irish vampires? But British vampires are pretty good too.
Anne Rice, did you read that one?
No.
Interview with a Vampire?
No, I should read it.
Okay, so I can't remember if I read it. I think I have. But like that was a long time ago too. But that was like a different type of story, and I didn't love it as much.
Okay.
I know it's like everyone loves it, including the movie. Maybe... Who is this? Tom Cruise?
Oh, I hate Tom Cruise.
Just as a vampire wasn't doing it for me.
Oh, I can't watch that. If he's a vampire in there, no way.
And then that one has a weird kiss with Kristen Dunst.
Oh.
Is it Tom Cruise? Am I confusing people?
I have no idea. You're asking the wrong person. I didn't know there was an earthquake in New York.
Anyways, yeah. Vampires have weird relationships with younger people.
Listen,
but
when they die in their early 20s... That doesn't mean they're actually 245 years old. Angel was not 245. He was actually like 22, so it's not as weird.
It's a fantasy.
Yes. Don't take away
fantasies. Don't have to be so like set in stone.
Exactly.
I think that sometimes is what happens. Some people, and listen, if that's how you feel about it, cool. Feel that way. But I don't feel like a fantasy about a vampire is going to make me want to date an old dude.
That's true. But speaking of weird things that are creepy, because that, in my opinion, it's not creepy to date a 245-year-old. I will do it. Sign me up. But
if he's rich, I will do it.
Well, he doesn't have to be. He just has to be dark and brooding. But rich,
well, if he looks young.
What if his skin is sparkly? See?
That wasn't my favorite part.
No, that was weird.
That was...
Because that's not your typical vampire thing. No. Like, because vampires are supposed to, like, explode in the sun, but not these ones. They sparkle.
They sparkle.
I thought that was weird.
Yeah, but that was funny.
It was just funny. It was just, like, cringy a little bit. But
I have the skin of a killer, Bella.
I know.
It sparkles.
So scary. But you know what was creepy was when Edward would spy on her?
Oh, okay, yes.
Like, what if she had to fart?
Right.
She's like in her bathroom by herself, in her bedroom that has an adjoining bathroom, and she's like changing. Like, what if she wanted to masturbate?
Yeah.
And he's just like watching her.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there was some weird stuff in there, like the stalker part. But of course, when you're reading it, it's romantic.
Yeah, Stephanie Meyer does a great job.
It's so romantic.
Making it seem romantic.
Right.
But then, like, well, of course, I was 18. So then, like, I'm like talking about it with, as I'm older, I'm like, oh yeah, I really like this Twilight. And they're like, why? And I'm like, oh shit, I shouldn't have told you that.
Right.
But then it made me think like, oh yeah, it is weird.
But this is what a lot of people don't understand. Books, while yes, sometimes they deal with real life things, we know that a book like Twilight
is not real.
It's not based on reality.
It's an escape from reality.
Right.
That's the point of the book.
And
it's entertainment.
Most readers, I would say 99%, I'm not going to say 100%, will read a book. And I see this all the time, like on Book Talk and Insta books. I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Where they talk about like fantasy books, right? And they're like, if any, like they have their book boyfriends, right?
Yeah. Oh.
But if any real life boyfriend did any of the stuff that,
that your book boyfriend did?
It would be like such a turnoff. You know, like growl in my ear.
No.
No, sir.
No. Sorry, this is my fantasy. And that,
if anybody touches you,
right.
Creep.
No,
right?
I will be in charge of my own body. Thank you very much. Which reminds me, we're going to do some updates. Sorry, I said I'll be in charge of my own body. So we have to do updates about the abortion and how it's on the ballot. We're not going to talk about it now.
Yeah.
But we do have some short, like maybe 15-minute update episodes that we are going to put on the subscription.
Yeah.
The MILF Ally page. So if you want to hear those short updates and other things, be sure to check out our link in the show notes and become a MILF Ally.
Yes.
Right.
And then you get to hear us every day. Lucky you.
Yeah. And those are shorter. So if you're like, oh, I can't listen to Jennifer and Courtney ramble and get distracted and talk about vampire sex,
or door sex.
Door sex. That's a new one. I gotta say, I learned something today.
Yeah. And soaking. It was a very informational show today.
Oh man. Yeah. So yeah, we'll try and put as many sources to those things up so you can fact check us on that. But in the meantime, don't ban books.
Ban bigots. This episode has been engineered and mixed by your hosts, Jennifer Mendoza and Courtney Green.
Thanks for listening, and be sure to follow us at MILF for Books. That's MILF, the number 4, books, on TikTok, Instagram, Threads, and X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it.
And don't forget to help the show by rating us wherever you get your podcasts.